little louder.
Hi, everybody. This is a story about my dad. My dad was always broke or about to be broke. And what I mean by that is money burned a hole in his pocket. He was one of those guys, you ever see those guys at the bar goes, next round's on me? That was him. And the thing about that, I thought he thought it would pay forward. It doesn't really. You never knew that he was broke because he lived large. He was like a 6'4" guy with white hair. He always wore a white pinstripe suit. He had a little pocket handkerchief, and he always looked like he had a lot of money. And his philosophy of life was, anyone can earn $1 million. I've spent it. So he went bankrupt. So my mother and us 3 kids wound up moving in with my grandparents for about 3-4 years. We go back to live with my dad, and it was wild because this was back when there were no regulations or rules about how debt collectors could get their money back. And I was a teenager, and they would call up the house, and they would say, "Is Frank Carmody there?" And I go, "No." And they go, "You tell him if he doesn't get the money to me by Tuesday, he's dead. You understand? You open the door, he's dead," which makes no sense. But he opens the door, he's dead. He's dead. And my reaction to those phone calls was just to get really polite. And I would go, "And who may I say is calling? Does he have your number? And when you say pay by Tuesday, do you mean this Tuesday or next Tuesday?" Which would just drive the people crazy. My father had a series of get-rich-quick schemes, and this story concerns one of them. He was like Jackie Gleason in The Honeymooners. And this scheme, he's at a bar, and he said to the bartender, "If you had to have one invention, something that could help you make money, what do you need?" And the guy said, "You know what, I always cut my hands cutting these lemons. A lemon peeler would be good." So my father, they had this guy, he had always these friends with nicknames, and he called this one guy the Fox. And the Fox was called the Fox because allegedly he went to law school for 1 semester. And he said, "Fox, what do I need?" And the guy goes, "You need an inventor and you need a patent." He goes, "Do you know any inventors?" And the next thing I know, we're all at the house. It's my brother, sister, and I, and my mother in a living room, and this little guy comes in that my father called Edison. I don't remember his name. He just looked like an accountant. He didn't look like Albert Einstein, but he came in with this giant thing. It was like 2 feet high, and it was a proposed lemon peeler. You put the lemon in the top, you pull these 2 handles down. It looked like an exercise machine, really. You put the 2 handles down, and then, then it's supposed to slide out 8 different separate slices of lemon. My mother's disgusted because she's been through these before. She's rolling her eyes, but the 3 kids were cheering him. "Yes, Dad, go, go." And he goes, "Edison, showtime." So Edison puts the lemon in, pulls it down, and it works. And we're all excited. So the next part of the story I heard in a bar, because my father finished it at a bar that night, which I heard. I had to go pick him up. I got the phone call. I go pick him up at the bar, and he's telling everybody, him and Edison take the train to New York City to go to a patent office. On the ride there, my father's telling everybody, he goes, "We had it covered up so no one could see it." It's like it's a big Secret Service stuff. They have it covered up. They go to the patent office. My father had so much fun describing the patent office. He goes, "There are all these guys with these little whirling machines going around." He made it sound like the bar in Star Wars. Just like this crazy scene. And the patent lawyer says, "It looks pretty good. Let me run a check on it. We'll see. This might work." So they're excited. They go back on the train, and back then on trains they had these parlor cars. And on the way back, my father couldn't resist it. My father goes to the parlor car, and he's like, "Round to me, round to me." They start drinking beers, and after a few beers, he's like, "Edison, bring it over here." And Edison doesn't want to. He goes, No, come on." He pulls the car tarp off it, and he says, "Barkeep, let's have a lemon." They put the lemon in, they pull the thing down, and everybody's covered with lemonade. Because it turns out there's more than one size lemon in the world. There are bigger lemons, there are smaller lemons, there are lemons that have 2 big handles. My father tells this story, and the bar all laughs. I'm a kid, and I'm looking at his face, and even though he's laughing, his eyes are kind of got that look on his face, because it's yet another one of his dreams that's been crushed. And I said, "Dad, are you okay?" And he looks at me, he gathers himself, and he smiles conspiratorially, and he looks at me, and I realized right then that smile meant he may have been broke, but he wasn't broken. And he said, "You have any money?" And I gave him all the money I had, and he said, next round's on me.
And everybody.